Hi everybody, this is Mike Barati, Lackawanna College. Hope all is well. And I'd like to welcome you to our webcast about World War One. First, I want to thank you for everything you're doing this semester. There's the camera. And what I had planned with this assignment, it may sound a little bit weird, but I really want to get to your questions directly online in video form. So I want you to watch this video, read the chapter, read chapters 4 and 5, and then by midweek, if you can, post a question or a comment on the discussion boards, and you'll see the link on the discussion boards, and then I'll come back midweek, maybe Thursday, and answer any questions that you have. So and directly, so for example, Mickey Mouse might have a question. I'm just making that part up. So, and hopefully the questions aren't like, why is the tie weird, or are you really a big Florida State fan, and is that Batman behind you? So I'll answer those questions as well. Anyways, so I want to talk about World War I. Definitely called by many in the era the war to end all wars. It was an introduction to brutality that we, in 2012, are unfortunately very much used to. It brought the death of 30 million people in Europe, with another 20 million dead of the flu in the years later, and introduced to the world the uglinesses of communism and fascism and radicalism in Europe, and the Great Depression. The Great Depression came first in Europe, and it would have very much effects on even the American colonies and the America and its colonies, and Anyways, so World War I is basically the culmination. I look at it like a pressure cooker. All through the chapters, you guys have been reading about tensions between the major powers in Europe over just about everything. They competed over who had the largest military. They competed over who had the most colonies, who had the most raw materials, who had the biggest navy. And then you add to the mix countries like Japan and Russia. They want to be major players. And all of these things cook in this pressure cooker until literally in 1914 it explodes, and everybody is drawn into this conflict. And to be honest with you, the causes of the conflict are the long-term causes we already know. The short-term causes are ridiculous. We have an assassination in Austria-Hungary, which results in everybody combining as one. See, the problem the European powers and the world powers made was they all signed up to be in alliances. And these alliances were basically promises to enter wars if we were challenged by anybody else. So all of a sudden, in 1914, a small conflict between Russia and Austria-Hungary brings in Britain and France and Germany and Japan and Russia and Italy and later on the United States. And of course, it's this horrible tragedy. And what makes it even worse is the style of fighting and the mechanisms of fighting are very different. Imagine if I'll make a sports reference. Imagine if professional hockey players played hockey the way they play today without any pads, or played with the pads of 50 years ago. It would be terrible. They'd be shooting the puck 125 miles an hour into somebody's body with no protections, and people would literally be killed. This is the way what happened in World War I. The tactics of World War I were old-fashioned trench warfare, building barricades, marching above barbed wire, and stabbing with bayonets, combined with the current technologies of the machine gun, poison gas, airplanes, artillery. Horrible. So you would have these missions where armies would rise out of a trench, don't comment on the watch, on the trench, and would march forward only to be mowed down by machine guns. So it was one of those examples of technology versus the current era. And truly it ended one era, imperialism and colonialism, and Britain and France are the big powers in the world, and brought forth a new era where the United States is a bigger player, Russia is a bigger player, Japan is a bigger player, and in all honesty, no disrespect to Britain and France, and I love my English football, but they were on the downhill. of history, unfortunately. And World War I was the beginning of that. So read Chapter 3 and 4, see what you guys think about that. Post a comment on the discussion board, and I will be back Thursday to answer any questions that you have. So thank you for your efforts this semester. The portal is always funky, and things always have to be resolved. But I appreciate your patience and appreciate your input, and everybody's been great. Have a great day. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.